knowledge being spread. It's like warm butter across the bread. Smooth, I know you like that. Flow with the grain and don't fight that. You want righteous love, you found the right match. With Marty McFly, they on the right track. Yeah, gotta dig some dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Doni Jones, she the one you wanna see. Doni Jones live, this is where you wanna be. It's Doni Jones live, Doni Jones live. It's Doni Jones live, Doni Jones live. It's Doni Jones live, Doni Jones live.
Hey, welcome to Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady, and I am usually hanging out with that guy Marty McFly. But guess what? Today we have a special guest on the show. You know, in our community, we're always trying to bring on people that are doing great things and helping people achieve what we call a beautiful life. And a beautiful life is whatever you determine a beautiful life should be. And our goal is to be able to help you get the tools and the opportunities and the information and the know-how to create that beautiful life. And so the gentleman that we have on the show today, I think is going to be a great segue into our upcoming series about building a beautiful life. I met this gentleman a long time ago at an event that me and my husband were involved in. And one of the things that struck me about him was like just the relationship between him and his wife, the kind of beautiful spirit and the beautiful energy that they exuded. And also this kind of, I call it calm in the storm. He just had a peace that understanding, not to be too biblical, but also this gentleman, not only did he have a beautiful spirit, it looked like he also was trying to build something that put good content out in the world. And one of the things that he's built is SBP coaching. And I love the name of his company, and I'm gonna let him explain it because I think you guys will understand why I'm so excited about having Jody Klein on our show. You guys help me welcome Jody Klein. I feel like there should be some applause in the background, but you know, we're on Zoom, so we're just gonna say hi to Jody. How are you doing, Jody?
I'm great and just honored to join you tonight. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you. As you can imagine, 2020 and going into 2021, I think everybody needs to have someone like you in their life right now. So, but going back to how I, back in the intro, I mentioned the name of your business. Could you explain to us what that means and how you came up with that name?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's Strength, Beauty, Purpose Coaching. And actually, if you can see my background, if you're able to see that,
I love your background.
I have an image of a picture I took in Sedona, Arizona, and it's a red rock mountain with the sun setting, and that image is sort of where I came up with the name, the strength that we need to build in our lives, so that we are strong enough to climb that mountain.
Yes.
The beauty in the world around us and the beauty within each of us, really tapping into that and owning that. And finally, discovering and living the purpose that we're meant to live. And that may change as time goes, but when you have that purpose and you're living from a place of purpose, your life just flows much more easily.
Yes, it does. And I love what you say about purpose, people living in their purpose. I don't know if I've ever, in fact, I know I haven't told you this before, but I've mentioned it on our show that when I was a kid, I don't even know where this came from, but I felt like my goal in life was to introduce people to their true positive self. I had no idea what that meant, but I found myself even in high school or in college or when I got into the business world, that I was always that person that was encouraging somebody or helping people see the best in themselves. And I think this last year, because of the pandemic and also, you know, all the craziness in politics, people have had to really reconsider what their purpose is and who they are in this world. Have you noticed that in your coaching?
Yes. What I can agree and tell you is that absolutely people are, I think, ready to talk about what's really important now.
Yes.
You know, we've been through a lot, this COVID thing, over 500,000 people here in our country and millions in the world have lost their lives. And,
that's right.
You know, all of a sudden now you've got to ask yourself, oh, really, what's important now?
Yeah.
And how do I get there, and how do I do that, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Jody, what are some things that people can do? Like if someone's listening to this show right now and they are still reeling from the pandemic and they are still dealing with uncertainty and they are still concerned about what their job prospects are, or maybe they have a great job, but maybe they're just in a situation where they're like, I don't know if this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. What are some things that you would suggest people do right now?
That's a great question. What I would suggest is consider, if you haven't already, consider looking into coaching as a potential, working with someone that can help you. The coaching practice I come from and the training I have, we mean that everyone has their own best answers. I'm not trying to fix anyone, but what a coach will offer, a good coach will offer, is perspective.
Yes.
And ask you questions that open you, that have you look more inwardly, and help you find the answers that are already in there. Perspective is everything, really, and being able to. So yes, I definitely would promote coaching, but there are things you can do as well. There a practice that I've been learning recently called positive intelligence. PQ stands for positive intelligence quotient. And basically what that really boils down to is the number of positive thoughts you have at any one point versus the number of negative thoughts you're having. And you really, if you strive for a 3-to-1 ratio, so 75% of the time you're having positive thoughts versus 25 negative thoughts, you're putting yourself in a place to have the opportunity to experience more happiness in your life.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I like what you said about them taking the time, figuring out what makes them happy. But I think a lot of times people look on the outside as opposed to looking on the inside. And I literally just had somebody ask me yesterday, well, how will I know? How do I know what my purpose is? And I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but I really feel like people already have an idea, but they don't think it's big enough. Like they don't think they're because they're not, they don't have a big song out there, or they're not changing the world with some scientific, discovery, that their purpose isn't as important as somebody that's, hey, finding a, solution to the pandemic. What would you say to those people that feel like, okay, well, my purpose can't be to be a school teacher, or my purpose can't be to, sell shoes, whatever that is. What would you say for people that are still struggling in that area?
I think you hit the nail on the head about that. There's that voice within, and I would call it your champion within.
Well, I like that, Jody.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm stealing that.
Yeah. So that champion within, that inner voice that you have, some people call it your sage. That is when you're quiet and can hear that. Yeah. That is sort of your guiding light, is the way I look at it. And if you follow that, if you're able to follow that, it will guide you to the opportunities, to the places you need to go. I'm not saying that you don't have to work. I'm not saying that it doesn't require effort. It does, but that by following that, you will be given the opportunities you need to succeed in whatever purpose you desire, whatever your heart really is desiring. And that, what gets in the way of that, the noise that we create, or that is created and that we create actually within ourselves, with something called your saboteurs. And those are those voices that come into your head that say you're not good enough, you're not worthy of this, that as you begin some new venture or have this wonderful idea, and then within 24 hours you've already talking yourself out of it because that'll never work for me. Right. Those kinds of things, those voices are actually lying to you. They're not your true self.
Right.
And
Your positive true self. Remember, that's where
and
their positive true self.
So when you're able to recognize those voices and then learn techniques to quiet them, because I frankly don't think they ever go away.
Okay.
But to quiet them to a point where that's in the background, that's way in the background, and you're able to really have more of those positive thoughts and go forward in your day and shift that perspective, make that mind shift really quickly from negative to positive. That's key.
Absolutely. Well, Jody, I know that you can help people with that. Just real quickly, how do people get in contact with you if they want to ask you for help directly?
Thank you. The best way to reach me is probably my website, jody@svpcoaching.com.
And if you'll repeat that one more time and spell it, because
Absolutely.
Jody can be spelled Jodi
right.
or Jody.
In this case, it is Jody.
Yes.
At S like strength, B like beauty, P like purpose, coaching.com.
I love it.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Hey, this is your girl, Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. Don's Tree Service has been serving the metro Atlanta area for almost 20 years. I'm a certified arborist, and we are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 770-413-TREE. We give free estimates, and we don't charge extra for cleanup. Don's Tree Service, that's 770-413-TREE, or visit us online at donstree.com.
It's not too late to file your taxes. Don't be afraid to file, even if you feel you may owe, because this may not be so. Allow TrueTax to give you a free estimated quote based on minimum information required on our app. Please download the TrueTax app from Google Play and follow the prompts and choose Killeen, Texas as your preferred location. Remember to call Sunny at 254-304-9416. TrueTax and Credit Solutions, always true to price and service. When you file with us, you will receive a free credit profile cleanup and a free one-document notary service.
First, people got sick and I couldn't go to school. Then another police shooting. My mom and dad were upset. It seemed like they were losing hope. But then I told them, don't worry, there's still hope.
Manna Publishing presents the House of Hope Story and Coloring Activity Book. It's 44 pages of inspiration with coloring activities to calm your mind and redirect your attention. Children and adults can use this tool to relax, focus, and best of all, be inspired to find hope. Get your copy today at mannapublishing.com. Please, don't you dare go in there. Don't touch that. It's an emergency. Germs, viruses, and bacteria are everywhere. And today, it can even be deadly. Don't go in there without protection. Pro Spray, Atlanta's antimicrobial system works. We have a 2-stage process that cleans and seals. You can open your store, church, business, and have a safe home. We have the solution. A protective covering, disinfectant, long-lasting solution Pro Spray treatments. EPA approved, non-toxic, safe for families and pets. Contact Pro Spray Atlanta today. 833-776-7829. That's 833-PRO-SPRAY. July and August special. Office, 1,500 square feet or home, 1,000 square feet, $349. EPA approved, non-toxic, safe for families and pets. Don't go in there until Pro Spray has treated your surfaces for your protection. Contact Pro Spray Atlanta today. 833-776-7829. That's 833-PRO-SPRAY.
Okay, going back to people living in their purpose and finding beauty within, I would love it if they got a chance to talk to you, but what are some things, some just a couple of strategies that people can kind of take home today and start doing to kind of get on that path? And I always suggest people get help. If you are still struggling in that area, reach out to Jody. Reach out to, and if you've already got somebody that you know you should reach out to that you haven't, do it. But if you don't have anybody, you need to reach out to Jody. But what are some strategies you could say somebody could start with right now to go, okay, this will help me start going in the right direction?
I thank you. That's another great question. And there are a few things I would recommend. And I would suggest that every morning when you wake up, you take 10 minutes to stretch and do some sort of mindfulness meditation, or if you're not a meditator, listen to some music that inspires you. Do something to start your day with a cleanse, if you will. I start my day with 10 minutes of meditation. First, I stretch, and then I do my meditation. I use Insight Timer is the name of the app I use.
Could you repeat that one more time? What is that you use?
Insight Timer.
Insight Timer. Okay.
There are lots of them out there, but that's one I happen to like and use. But that starts my day with I use a guided meditation. It just starts my day. It puts me in a place of calm, and I'm recognizing that I have this new opportunity, this new day before me, and what comes next. So that's one thing. The other thing I would encourage people to do is consider a gratitude journal, or if you're not a journaler, just a little sticky note, and write 3 things on the sticky note that you're grateful for today.
Wow.
What are those? I saw the sunshine. My child smiled at me this morning over Cheerios. Whatever it is, I have a job. It may not be the job forever, but I have one right now.
You have one. Jody, oh my goodness. I hope you guys are getting a lot out of this, because this is powerful. I remember hearing Oprah say something about, in fact, it was a video she did where she talked about gratitude and how that was really one of the catalysts to her success, is this gratitude list that she actually makes every evening. But I like the idea of starting your day off with a gratitude list. I think that's phenomenal. And I think that's that's a great nugget of information that people can take home right now and start using today. You don't have to wait until you make an appointment with your, whoever's going to help you, whether it's your therapist, your rabbi, your pastor, or in this case, Jody, hopefully Jody, because I know that this man can help you, especially if you're on that path where you're looking for purpose and you're trying to find beauty with whatever circumstances you're in. Jody, real quick, obviously you're passionate about this, and we met you almost 20 years ago. Actually, it was before I got married, I believe. It was like right after I got married. It was one of those.
It was early.
It was early. I got a few grays up there, but could you explain just a little bit about your story? Because I think it's interesting for people to know where you came from and how you got into this type of work.
Yeah. So when we met, I believe you had just had your first child.
My little munchkin.
Yeah, I think. That's my memory anyway. And I was at that time a stay-at-home dad. We had 2 young boys, and my wife had a great job, and it was just, we wanted one of us to be able to be there, and it made sense for me to be there. So I didn't anticipate it, but it turned out to be a 10-year commitment. And
oh my gosh,
it was great. It was a great experience for me, and I think for my boys. And we really have a really close relationship now. I think a lot of reason is because we had that so much time together.
Yeah.
So that was a great gift. I went into some nonprofit work after that, and worked first with Consumer Credit Counseling Service and later with Atlanta Habitat for Humanity.
Great organization.
Yeah. And it was while I was at Atlanta Habitat that I discovered coaching, or it came into my life. And once I discovered it, I knew that's where I needed to be. And it took me a few years to commit and make the commitment to get the certification. But a voice came to me like, you can't wait any longer. You got to do this. So.
But what made you decide that this would be the path for you? Because a lot of times when people choose this path, it's because they want to help people overcome something that they overcame in their life. Like for me, I had a traumatic childhood, and as I got older and I worked hard and I made better choices and I made a lot of mistakes, and then I learned from those mistakes, and then I got better and better. I would see people that came from very similar circumstances that I came from that were like, man, Donnie, you just don't understand. You don't know what it's like. And I'm like, whoa. Yes, I do. I know what it's like, but you have to do the work. And part of doing the work is, like you said, doing that internal, those internal exercises, getting a clear idea of what you want, not listening to the negative voices in their head that tell you can't do something. I mean, and so I started studying this type of work, and that made me passionate about sharing this knowledge with other people. And it wasn't even necessarily on a professional basis. It was just one-on-one. So I know mine came from childhood trauma and wanting to help others overcome. But what put you on this path? Was it just you saw that, hey, I'm pretty smart guy. I have a very, because you do have a beautiful spirit. You have this, I feel like I'm like all over here and you're like, yes, but you have this very calming, beautiful spirit. Was it that you saw a need for that, or was there some other situation that helped you tap into the need to help people?
I think when I went to college, my major was psychology. And I think I've just always had an interest in what makes people tick. And, I got really excited about positive intelligence and in maybe 5-10 years ago. And that has pushed me to, I think, help me. I wasn't sure how that was going to play out in my life, but I knew there was something. And then I heard a coach speak. To be honest with you, I was in a ballroom. I can't remember where, but this coach was speaking, and I had this light bulb moment. Literally, I had this like, aha. And I looked up and I said, I need to do what she's doing. And she was, I think she coached people around money and personal finance, but that's not my forte itself, but what I loved about it was how she interacted with her clients. And it was really not that she was telling them or advising them, it was that she was enrolling them to and get passionate about their own lives and about making the choices that were going to define their lives, and helping them in that. And that's where I got excited about it and why I am where I am right now. That's why I'm doing this work.
Oh.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Hey, this is your girl, Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. Don's Tree Service has been serving the metro Atlanta area for almost 20 years. I'm a certified arborist, and we are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 770-413-TREE. We give free estimates, and we don't charge extra for cleanup. Don's Tree Service, that's 770-413-TREE, or visit us online at donstree.com.
Hey, write this number down, 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-VAST. Have you ever thought about having a produced commercial for your next event, your church anniversary, birthday, family reunion, or if you just need some production work done? VAST Productions can help. We're an audio video production house specializing in making your audio and video dreams come to life. Thinking about a family documentary or a church history story? Call us at 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-8278. VAST Productions has over 20 years of production experience, and we're ready to work for you. To get started, just call 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-8278.
Hey, I'm Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service and author of From Failure to Fabulous. From Failure to Fabulous is my opportunity to share with you my trials and tribulations of growing a tree service or growing a small business and making it successful by overcoming adversity, and also giving you some tidbits on what you can do on a day-to-day basis to achieve your dreams and be the best that you can be. And you can find us on Amazon. You can go to Doni Jones Live. Anywhere that books are sold, you should be able to find it.
Now, back to more Doni Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
I got to go back to what you just said. You said there was a light bulb that went off, and you said, that's what I want to do. And I think since we're talking about people making a change in their life and finding their purpose and finding beauty in their life and doing the things that they want to do, what you did is exactly how you get there. There's so many people that have a light bulb moment and then they talk themselves out of that moment. For those of you that have listened to our show and know me, you know that I own a tree care company here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I love it. I love the tree care industry. Well, it was one of these moments where I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, and I went for a drive. I was out on Browns Mill Road over here, and there's a certain part of Atlanta that has this long, winding road, and I looked out of the horizon. I was like, starting a tree service. It was just like that. I grew up in the tree care industry, and I loved it when I was a kid. But when I became a teenager, I didn't love it so much. I didn't like it because, I wanted to be cute. And then I remember thinking, I loved it. When I was a kid, I loved being in the tree care industry. And it was just like that. And at the time, I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the contacts. Nothing. But I said, I'm going to do this. And I just took one step after another and started to grow my business. And you can find out more about that in my book, From Failure to Fabulous. You can find it.
I can recommend that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Jody. I appreciate you. And I recommend you guys talk to Jody about how he did what he did. Seriously, because you did have that light bulb that went off and then you followed it. Can you explain to people what you found inside to make you do that? Because there are people that have that light bulb moment like you did, like I did, and then they don't follow it. True.
I will say I had the light bulb moment. I had some things happening in my life in that time that I thought I had to wait for to come to a conclusion before I could pursue that goal. But I came to a point, honestly, that was like, I can't wait any longer. I'm unwilling to wait any longer.
Oh, can we just pause right there? You were unwilling to wait any longer.
Right. And so, awesome. Yeah. So I called, I went through an organization called Coaches Training Institute, Coactive Training Institute, and CTI. And I just called them and I said, I knew that's who I wanted to go with for certification. And I said, here's my credit card number. Let's do it. So awesome. Yeah, I just knew I had to get started. And I think that first step, and that was a leap of faith, honestly, in that moment, to put down, it was a pretty substantial investment for me at the time. Of course. But I knew that it's where I needed to be, and I just was committed to doing it. I made up my mind. Well, you made up your mind and you did it, and that's what you help other people do. And that strength that goes back to the first letter in the name of your company, which is strength, beauty, and purpose. And I love that. What are some ways that people can find the strength to do it? As you can tell, I like finding, because one thing that I've noticed and you may have noticed this too, Jody, whenever I listen to motivational speakers or coaches, I used to listen to them and get excited, and I was motivated, and I've got the energy to go do what I'm going to, and I just believe in my mind, but then there was no strategy behind that. So whenever I put out content or I interview people, I like to get strategies that people can actually go home today and use. You found the strength to do that, right? What are some things that other people can do to find the strength if they feel like they don't have the strength to make those choices, to change, to take their life in the next direction, or in another direction, I should say? Right. And I think that's define that. So what you were saying really was, what, if I heard you correctly, was basically that you get inspired by people, right? You listen to someone, you get this inspiration, and that is a great feeling. You walk away from that workshop or that listening to that CD or whatever, and you're like, kind of a fire's lit under you. But then if you wait a day or two, something starts to, the fire's getting smaller and you just, you lose some of the spark, and then before long it goes out. I think honestly, the key is taking an action step. And what I would say, it can be a small step, but it could also be as small as, let's just say, for example, you wanted to start your own tree business. Yes. Maybe you just take a picture of a tree and you hang it on on your refrigerator, or you somewhere where you see it every day, or that truck that you need for your for your business, or whatever it might be. You have a visualization, an image is really powerful, and you put that somewhere where you're seeing it a lot. You also, I would suggest, write down what it is you want to be happening, and you use I am statements. I am a coach. I am a small business person. I am XYZ. That is calling it forth.
Yes. If you guys notice, I keep looking to the side. That's because I'm over here taking notes. I'm literally over here taking notes.
Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Hey, this is your girl, Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. Don's Tree Service has been serving the metro Atlanta area for almost 20 years. I'm a certified arborist, and we are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 770-413-TREE. We give free estimates, and we don't charge extra for cleanup. Don's Tree Service, that's 770-413-TREE, or visit us online at donstree.com.
It's not too late to file your taxes. Don't be afraid to file, even if you feel you may owe, because this may not be so. Allow TrueTax to give you a free estimated quote based on minimum information required on our app. Please download the TrueTax app from Google Play and follow the prompts and choose Killeen, Texas as your preferred location. Remember to call Sunny at 254-304-9416. TrueTax and Credit Solutions, always true to price and service. When you file with us, you will receive a free credit profile cleanup and a free one-document notary service. Thank you.
First, people got sick and I couldn't go to school. Then another police shooting. My mom and dad were upset. It seemed like they were losing hope. But then I told them, don't worry, there's still hope.
Manna Publishing presents the House of Hope Story and Coloring Activity Book. It's 44 pages of inspiration with coloring activities to calm your mind and redirect your attention. Children and adults can use this tool to relax, focus, and best of all, be inspired to find hope. Get your copy today at mannapublishing.com. Please, don't you dare go in there. Don't touch that. It's an emergency. Germs, viruses, and bacteria are everywhere. And today, it can even be deadly. Don't go in there without protection. Pro Spray, Atlanta's antimicrobial system works. We have a 2-stage process that cleans and seals. You can open your store, church, business, and have a safe home. We have the solution. A protective covering, disinfectant, long-lasting solution Pro Spray treatments. EPA approved, non-toxic, safe for families and pets. Contact Pro Spray Atlanta today. 833-776-7829. That's 833-PRO-SPRAY. July and August special. Office, 1,500 square feet, or home, 1,000 square feet, $349. EPA approved, non-toxic, safe for families and pets. Don't go in there until Pro Spray has treated your surfaces for your protection. Contact Pro Spray Atlanta today. 833-776-7829. That's 833-PRO-SPRAY. Now, back to more Doni Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
When I started my tree service, I took pictures of trucks, and literally within a short period of time, we would have those trucks. Now here's the caveat though, you have to do the work. You just can't stick a picture of something on the wall and then go have a sandwich. You know, you gotta do the work. But I will say this, sometimes the work is to get still and to get a clear vision, not just the vision that's on the wall, but you have to get that vision up here in your head that you are going to accomplish this. And instead of saying, I want to do this, just say, I am this, you know, or I want to be this. Bring it into the present. And I got that actually from Think and Grow Rich, which is one of my favorite books. And another one is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Another great book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Another great one. I mean, there's so many that are out there, but getting a great visual. You're absolutely right, Jody. You're absolutely right. Now, are there some books that you would suggest? Of course, mine, that people get to help them with this journey?
Wow, there are, as you mentioned, quite a few. There's one that I'm trying to recall the name. This is embarrassing. But
You've got so much going on.
The Seed of My Soul, The Seed of Your Soul.
Yes.
Oprah actually had that author on her show.
Yes.
Seed of the Soul, I think, is the title. And I'm sorry, I can't recall the author's name. It's back in my bedroom, but a great book. And it's along the lines of what we've been discussing.
Yes.
The books you've mentioned obviously are great.
What do you think of the art? Because I know a lot of times when I'm talking to entrepreneurs and people because that's kind of my sweet spot right there, is people that are entrepreneurs and want to start businesses and become more successful or whatever. So that's my sweet spot. But I do, for people that even if they're not artistic, I feel like being an entrepreneur is an artistic endeavor in and of itself. I had to learn that. What do you think about the book called The Artist's Way? Have you heard of that book, The Artist's Way?
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah.
So
I think that one, and that one kind of taps into it's in you, and you just have to just take baby steps and just do the work. And a lot of times with artistic people, they feel like they've got to do this big thing before what they want will manifest. And a lot of times it starts with them just consistently doing the small things every day that will build into bigger, events.
Yeah, it is definitely taking those baby steps. I mean, we all have to begin somewhere, right? And there's so many examples. You're a great example of that, starting with like $45 and a business
$43 in a dream.
I mean, but really, there's plenty of people that have done that. Yeah. And they didn't succeed. I think you tell me if I'm wrong, but my sense is you didn't succeed because you just had the dream. You succeed because you had the dream and you had the vision and you did the work. So it was all of that. Yeah. And you didn't, the other important part is you didn't take no for an answer.
You
absolutely let that stop you.
That's right. Everything you just said is absolutely correct. And I would say the same thing for you. That's why you've become successful in what you do. But also going back to the doing the work and having the dream, I also started using what people perceive to be as negatives as fuel. In other words, because I had a traumatic childhood, that's why I'm going to be successful. Because my dad was a narcissist, that's why I'm going to learn more about people and how to read people and how to understand people and to understand how the human mind works. Because, there was abuse in my house, that's why I'm going to learn to be a great mom. So there's not abuse, and I'm going to be a great wife, and I'm not going to talk to my husband a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. So I use the negatives as a blueprint of what not to do. And I think sometimes as human beings, we don't do that. We use our negatives as a reason why we can't do, as opposed to a reason why we can do. Do you find that?
I think that we often will take our experience, whatever that experience is, and because that was our experience, we just live in that experience. Yeah. We assume that it has to be that way. That's right. And we don't question ourselves about, what was the way it was as we were children.
Yes.
That it can it be different for you? We just kind of get stuck in that rut and we bring that baggage with us forward, but it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. The good news is, and I can't remember if you said this, but you get two chances to be two chances to at a relationship with a parent, let's say in particular. And the one is when you're a child and you really have no choice, and the second is when you're a parent and you have choice and how you.
That's so good.
So yeah, I think Anyway, someone said that. It's not original.
But Jody, this is why people need to talk to you. Once again, before we wrap up, could you tell people how to get in contact with you?
So best way is Jody, Jody, at sbpcoaching.com. You can also reach me at my cell, 678-372-9396.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Hey, this is your girl, Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. Don's Tree Service has been serving the metro Atlanta area for almost 20 years. I'm a certified arborist, and we are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 770-413-TREE. We give free estimates, and we don't charge extra for cleanup. Don's Tree Service, that's 770-413-TREE, or visit us online at donstree.com.
It's not too late to file your taxes. Don't be afraid to file, even if you feel you may owe, because this may not be so. Allow TrueTax to give you a free estimated quote based on minimum information required on our app. Please download the TrueTax app from Google Play and follow the prompts and choose Killeen, Texas as your preferred location. Remember to call Sunny at 254-304-9416. TrueTax and Credit Solutions, always true to price and service. When you file with us, you will receive a free credit profile cleanup and a free one-document notary service. Thank you.
First, people got sick and I couldn't go to school. Then another police shooting. My mom and dad were upset. It seemed like they were losing hope. But then I told them, don't worry, there's still hope.
Manna Publishing presents the House of Hope Story and Coloring Activity Book. It's 44 pages of inspiration with coloring activities to calm your mind and redirect your attention. Children and adults can use this tool to relax, focus, and best of all, be inspired to find hope. Get your copy today at mannapublishing.com. Please, don't you dare go in there. Don't touch that. It's an emergency. Germs, viruses, and bacteria are everywhere. And today, it can even be deadly. Don't go in there without protection. Pro Spray, Atlanta's antimicrobial system works. We have a 2-stage process that cleans and seals. You can open your store, church, business, and have a safe home. We have the solution. A protective covering, disinfectant, long-lasting solution Pro Spray treatments. EPA approved, non-toxic, safe for families and pets. Contact Pro Spray Atlanta today. 833-776-7829. That's 833 Pro Spray. July and August special. Office 1,500 square feet or home 1,000 square feet. $349. EPA approved, non-toxic, safe for families and pets. Don't go in there until Pro Spray has treated your surfaces for your protection. Contact Pro Spray Atlanta today. 833-776-7829. That's 833 Pro Spray.
Now, back to more Doni Jones Live with Donnie and Marty McFly.
Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Now, Jody, this goes out to a few cities and as well as online. So,
Oh, wow.
but that's good. That's good. You see how he's an open book. I love that. I absolutely love that. But you guys have to be patient. If he's busy with a coaching client, you have to be patient.
Leave me a message. I'll call you back.
Exactly. And once again, they can email you also, correct?
Absolutely. The email is jody@sbpcoaching.com.
Love it. Love it. Now, just a side note or just a closing note. Obviously, people are still dealing with trauma from the pandemic. What are some of the beautiful things that you've seen come out of this? Because so many people focus on the negative. What are some of the beautiful things? It doesn't even have to be the pandemic, just this last year. Because for us, it wound up being a very great year, but I away from acknowledging that because I feel like for so many people, it wasn't a great year and people lost family members. I've lost friends and clients, actually. I actually was going to a client's house and the person that was managing the property met me at the house instead of my client. And he said, oh, she passed 2 days ago and she had passed because of COVID. So it's been tough. It's been tough, but there's also been a lot of beauty that's come from it. Can you give us just some things that you've noticed as a coach that people could probably start looking at that came out of 2020 and that they could take into 2021?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I didn't mention this earlier, but part of the work I do is also that I'm interested in is working with people around grief, in particular, and there's a lot of that right now, of course, and I think there's no way around it.
Yes,
you've kind of got to go through it to get to the other side. And there is pain there, but the suffering is optional. David Kessler talks a lot about this. He's written several books, Finding Meaning in the Death of Someone, and incredible book. I would definitely recommend that. If you're someone that's struggling with grief, Finding Meaning by David Kessler is a great
You got me writing again, Jody.
Yeah,
I'm going to
great
write
place
that
to
down.
start. On Grief and Grieving, he also wrote that, and that's another great book. But in terms of finding strength and finding beauty in this last year, for me, if I look at my own life, unexpected, my wife retired from her job, COVID-related retirement. We are spending so much more time together, and that's been a beautiful thing.
Your wife is beautiful.
Thank you.
I really mean it. Sometimes you may not remember everything about a person, but you remember how they made you feel. And you and your wife, you have this beautiful spirit about yourselves. And 15, 20 years later, you still have that beautiful spirit about yourself. And now you're sharing that with other people through your coaching.
Yeah, thank you. Another thing I would say is about beauty is that for me, I have, I'm not trying to get political here, but I'm just saying I feel more hopeful about our country.
Yes.
And about where we're headed as a nation than I did before.
Yeah.
And for me, that is a great thing. We still have a lot of work to do. I know that.
We do.
But I have a lot of hope that we're headed in a better place.
I'm glad. I know people shy away from that. And especially since we're a platform that's growing, I know sometimes it's nice for people to say, well, you should be a little apolitical and not dive into that. But I would not be being honest with myself and honest with my audience if I did not piggyback on what you're saying. I also feel hopeful because there's been a change in the administration. And I think we have to remember we came together as a country in the middle of everything that was going on and said, no more. It's time to change. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. Now, granted, there was a lot of ugliness that came from, the way things happen. There's people that are in denial about it, but to know that that most of the votes went to a gentleman that chose a woman of color as his vice president. And the fact that she's a woman and she's a woman of color says a lot about where this country is going. And I remember, for those of you that don't know, Jody is also one of my clients. And I remember we actually met to talk about his trees prior to the election. And I was telling him that I really believed that things were going to change. And I just felt it in my bones that we weren't going to go back that way, and that there would be a change. And sure enough, there was a change, and we all came together to do that. And for that, I'm thankful. But like you said, we have a lot more work to do. It's not perfect right now, but at least we can come from a more positive place.
Yeah. We need to recognize that election, as important as it was, and it was huge, that there are plenty of people right now today trying to make it so much more difficult for us to vote and express ourselves, and we can't let that stop us.
We're not going to let it stop us.
We have to be vigilant, and we have to stay informed, and we have to be active in our local community, and get involved. Be part of the answer.
You hear that, guys? Like Jody said, get involved and stay active. And remember one thing: no matter how bad things get, if you look at the history of this country, and this is what I've been saying for a while now, if you look at the history of this country, we always progress forward. We might fall back, and believe me, that other dude was definitely a fall back, but it's like almost like a slingshot forward. There is not one time in the history of this country where these horrible things happen and then nothing better happened afterwards, whether it's the civil rights movements, whether it's women's rights, whether it's LGBTQ plus rights. We always move forward, and we're going to get past this too. especially because of people like Jody Klein.
I think we are evolving. We're moving forward. It like you said, it takes a while, and it's incremental, and that can be frustrating, but we're headed in the right direction.
Yes, I like that. And on that note, is there anything else you'd like to add, Jody, before we wrap up, and tell people one more time how to get in contact with you?
Thank you, Donnie, for this opportunity. You can reach me, Jody, at sbpcoaching.com. And we'll be having, before too long, a grief workshop with a colleague, and that'll start in May. There'll be something soon on my website about that, and that's sbpcoaching.com. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful for having this opportunity. It's been a pleasure.
Well, Jody, it's been a pleasure. And I promise you that when you get closer to that date, I'd love to have you come back so we can talk more about grief, because we didn't get a chance to really to dive into that like I wanted to. And I know we got off into some other things, but if you would give us the honor and the opportunity, we'd love to have you come back and talk about grief.
I'd be happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jody. You be blessed.
You too.
And thank you guys for checking out Doni Jones Live.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Hey, this is your girl, Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. Don's Tree Service has been serving the metro Atlanta area for almost 20 years. I'm a certified arborist, and we are fully licensed and insured. Call us at 770-413-TREE. We give free estimates, and we don't charge extra for cleanup. Don's Tree Service, that's 770-413-TREE, or visit us online at donstree.com.
Hey, write this number down, 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-VAST. Have you ever thought about having a produced commercial for your next event? Your church anniversary, birthday, family reunion, or if you just need some production work done? VAST Productions can help. We're an audio video production house specializing in making your audio and video dreams come to life. Thinking about a family documentary or a church history story? Call us at 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-8278. VAST Productions has over 20 years of production experience, and we're ready to work for you. To get started, just call 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-VAST. That's 1-888-470-8278.
Hey, I'm Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service and author of From Failure to Fabulous. From Failure to Fabulous is my opportunity to share with you my trials and tribulations of growing a tree service or growing a small business and making it successful by overcoming adversity, and also giving you some tidbits on what you can do on a day-to-day basis to achieve your dreams and be the best that you can be. And you can find us on Amazon. You can go to Doni Jones Live. Anywhere that books are sold, you should be able to find us.
Trees in your yard are just too tall. Who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If the tree is in the street or the tree is in your back seat, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
When your tree branches begin to fall, it's only one company to call, Don's Tree Service. If you just need a little trimming or stump removal, we do it all. Don's Tree Service, 770-413-TREE. Fully licensed and insured, and we've been serving the Atlanta area for over 10 years.
Hi, I'm Johnny the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service and certified arborist. When it falls, you know who to call. Call for a free estimate at 770-413-TREE. That's 770-413-8733.
When it falls, you know who to call.
Don's Tree Service.
We know that we're asking Americans to do a lot right now. So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible to this virus.
A question I often get asked is, why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
Social distancing is really physical separation of people.
It's what we refer to when we ask people to stay at least 6 feet apart.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, not going to theaters where there are a lot of people. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others who might actually be infected or infect you.
We all have a role to play in preventing person-to-person spread of this disease, which can be deadly for vulnerable groups. For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. But if you're feeling lost in the night, it's okay to cry, just as long as you hold your head. 'Cause we're on our way to better. Better's ahead. Better's ahead. It gets worse before it gets better. But better's ahead. Better's ahead. Better days are coming. Better days are coming. Better days, better days. Better days are coming. I know you've been kicked out, slept on, let down, faith gone, waited for too long for something to lean on. You feel weak, just be strong, deep breath, and stay calm. If you just press on, press on, press on, you gon' see there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. And if you're feeling lost in the night, it's okay to cry, just as long as you hold your head. 'Cause we're on our way to better. Better's ahead. Better's ahead. It gets worse before it gets better. Better's ahead. Better's ahead. Better days are coming. Better days are coming. Better days, better days. Better days are coming. I know you felt left out, slept on. Keep going, keep going. Shine bright, don't dim yours for no one. Keep going higher.